What's going on, fellow gamblers? Welcome back to Straight Betting. Today is Tuesday, December 2nd. In today's video, I got 3 NBA best bets for today. And real quick, guys, I apologize for recent inconsistencies. I've been traveling a ton. I have a dog and had to drive back to Minnesota from North Carolina over the holiday break. So videos will be coming daily along with the streams now. I'm going to announce the winner of the last giveaway. We did have a positive day the last video. Zach Adams. Zach, my guy. DM me on X and I will make sure to send you over that 25 bucks. And staying on tune with the giveaway. I will be doing that again today. If we do indeed have a winning day, all you have to do is drop a like on the video, comment down below your favorite play, and be subscribed to the channel. All right, guys, so last 3 days have been very mid. Honestly, guys, this last whole month or last 3 or 4 weeks have been very mid, not a lot of fun. Zubac over PR, that barely got home. We'll take it, I guess. Quickly, that was probably my best read. All right, one of them that got home pretty easily. Rui, he shot 8 threes. Very, very happy with that read. Michael Porter played that yesterday. Very, very happy with that read as well. The losers, Brandon Williams, under 19.5 PRA, does not get there. Thought that Ryan Nembhard was going to play a little bit more. De'Aaron Fox should have just taken points. Wolves win zone late in the game. Not a lot of fun, man. Kawhi over 2.5 assists. I'd have to check the potentials, but he did not get there last night. And then Nurkic over 12.5 rebounds and assists, had 11 in 22 minutes, I think, and got into foul trouble, ended up fouling out. So a little bit unfortunate here, man, but I'm pretty happy with the reads overall. All right, guys, not going to lie, all 3 plays are going to be unders today. I'm kind of hating today. But with that being said, guys, I'm not being biased when I'm taking Anthony Edwards under. I'm going Ant-Man under 29.5 points, my favorite player in the league. Obviously, guys, I am a Minnesotan. And yeah, I love Anthony Edwards, but I do hope that he does not score 30 points tonight. So, guys, reasoning behind this Ant play. So, look, if you've been keeping up with the Pelicans, they're allowing the highest catch and shoot frequency by a wide margin. The most catch and shoot field goal was made. Obviously, guys, that's not going to be Ant's game, but what catch and shoot stuff is indicative of is playing very, very aggressive coverages, right? Catch and shoots is role player stuff. Obviously, some off-ball screen stuff as well, but for the most part, it's you overhelp on a drive and leave a shooter open, things to that extent. So since Willie Green got fired, because this is a James Borrego thing, Steph Curry played them. I'm just I pulled every single guard I tend to see as a star. Steph Curry only had 9 points in 28 minutes. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander only had 23 points in 29 minutes. Only had 9 field goal attempts. Of course, he had 10 free throws and made all of them. But and then Jamal Murray, another high usage guard, only had 16 points in 36 minutes. And that was a game without Aaron Gordon. He's been a 25, 26 points per game guy in the rest of the games. And then, yes, guys, I'll address the elephant in the room. Luka and Austin Reeves did just have 33 and 34 points, but the rest of the superstar guards, the high usage guards, have been very quiet against the Pelicans, and that's because they allow the 4th lowest pull-up frequency over the last 10 games as well. They're playing a lot of zone, man. They're just sending a lot of aggressive traps up top. I like the top guys, and I will say, guys, about this Ant one is that he's been amazing this year. Obviously, we're looking at this props madness screen. He's over in 5 straight. This is his highest number. Props Madness shows the closing lines. As you can see, it says CL, 28.5 against the Spurs, 27.5, 24.5 against OKC, 28.5, 27. This is his highest closing line of the year. So, yeah. And then also Luka did play the Pelicans earlier too, man. And he only had 24 points. So, yeah. This is obviously a really, really good sell spot in my opinion. And, he had that quote about laying it down about going hard against the crappy teams this year. And I will say he has been to an extent, but they're kind of on a 2-game winning streak now. And obviously they don't want to lose here, but against the Wizards, he did look completely disengaged, had 18 points in 36 minutes. Against the Mavericks, looked pretty disengaged too, another crappy team, 13 points in 29 minutes. So look, man, this team is going to be very, very aggressive against Ant. I think there's a better chance. There's a range of outcomes where Ant just isn't fully checked in, fully engaged. And also, guys, this is just a great sell spot. I mean, like I said, this is Ant's highest number of the season at this 29.5. So big fan of his under here. Obviously could get burned, but yeah, he's going to see some tough coverages, and it's a really high line. Second official play, guys. I'm going to go with Luke Kornet of the Spurs. I'm taking him under 15.5 points and rebounds. Guys, look, if this is 14.5 by the time, I think that's fine for half a unit. I also just under 7.5 points too, straight up. I think they're both pretty good looks. But anyways, guys, going back to Luke Kornet, first thing I want to show you guys is his logs with Wemby. And they haven't exactly been great, right? We go to without Victor Wembanyama. Obviously, he's been starting at the 5 since then. He's only averaging 13.3 PA. He's averaging 26.3 minutes in the sample. That's probably, a good projection. Nothing's changed here. But yeah, he's under in 5 out of 7 games. It's not like he's crushing this line, without Wemby by any means. And this is one of like the worst matchups in the league, in my opinion. We can scroll over here and look at, Luke Kornet against Memphis. I mean, guys, Luke Kornet took 1 shot. He had 4 rebounds, 25 minutes, 4 PR. I mean, that's his worst game of the year, like from a production standpoint by a mile. And that happened to be against the Grizzlies, happened to be against Zach Edey, who is the reason why I am taking this under. Guys, obviously, Zach Edey's 7'5". He's massive. He's good rim protection. If you're not like a big who can stretch the floor, if you can stretch the floor, you can have a good game against Zach Edey. But if you're like Luke Kornet, like look at where he scores, man. 87% of his points are in the restricted area. Good luck getting, easy buckets in the restricted area against Zach Edey. And then 13% are in the non, so just like little floaters and stuff. So look, man, this is like centers who don't have like shooting touch or just like shooting touch, I'd say, or offensive skill are really going to struggle against Zach Edey, right? You go to like the Memphis defense. I wouldn't pay too much mind to this personally because Zach Edey obviously missed like a really, really big portion of the year. But we can look at some like recent non-shooting bigs against Zach Edey. And obviously, guys, Zach Edey has not played a ton. Drew Eubanks, if you look down here, he's somewhat comparable. He had 6 PR in 15 minutes. He beats Zubac, who is like a big with skill, but he also can't like stretch the floor at all. He doesn't have shooting touch. Zubac only had 21 PR in 39 minutes. Really, really poor game from Zubac from a production standpoint. And then Daniel Gafford, too, is someone, obviously, guys, like Derek Queen's like a finesse big. Jonas Valanciunas is a backup big, so I don't put too much stock into that, right? Because a lot of his minutes are going to align with, not Zach Edey. But then Daniel Gafford is another one, right? And this is like before this was before Zach Edey got hurt or came back from injury. But Daniel Gafford had another poor game from a production standpoint. Only 5 points and 8 rebounds for 13 PR in 27 minutes. So, yeah, man, this line is without Wemby. Like this line seems high to begin with, right? He hasn't exactly been amazing. Went over against the Kings, who are a brutal paint defense. The Nuggets, who, played a good game. We'll tip his hat to that. But yeah, man, brutal matchup here for Luke Kornet. It's really just a brutal matchup for centers who, don't have shooting touch. And he hasn't exactly been soaring over this line without Wemby anyway. So very happy to take the under 15.5. And like I said, man, if it is 14.5, I think that's fine. But also 7.5 points under is a very good look as well. So really like all Luke Kornet under stuff here today. And guys, before I give out my third and final under, I'm going to quick shout out Novig. Guys, I was in Minnesota the past, couple days, 5 days or so. Obviously, guys, Minnesota has some restrictions. So I was using Novig a ton. As you can see here, spammed a ton of plays with them. And guys, obviously, you should have Novig regardless. It's a great asset to have. It's going to have the best number and market a lot. But especially, guys, if you're in a state that does have, those restrictions, Novig is an absolute must. So, guys, get Novig. Use code BETTIN. When you spend $5, they'll give you 50 to play with. So, yeah, guys, I have a link down below to download Novig. And make sure you use code BETTIN so you can get that 50 when you do indeed deposit and spend 5 with them. Okay, guys, third and final play. I am going to go with Draymond under 14.5 points and assists. There's actually a 15.5 popping up in the market. So you guys make sure to always line shop and, find the best prices. It's obviously massive. But anyways, guys, so Steph Curry's out for this one, guys. And I think his line is like a little bit higher due to Steph Curry being out than it typically is, right? But yeah, if we go to like without Steph Curry, right, and go to like 20 plus minutes, right, because he had a game where he like did not play whatsoever. It was actually that Rudy game back in the day when he, choked him out, and good old Draymond. But yeah, I mean, this is just like a pretty big sample, man. This is like without Steph Curry. He's, as you can see here, he's averaging 29.9 minutes in the sample, and I'll touch on this in a little bit. But he's only averaging 11.9 PA in the sample, staying under in a decent chunk of games. So look, man, I'm just not going to overthink this one. Clearly, this line looks a little bit too high just off rip without Steph, right? And it makes sense. Why does Draymond not benefit with or play worse with Steph? First of all, from an assist standpoint, Draymond gets like 50% of his assists probably to Steph. Steph also just has like ridiculous gravity. So when, a Gary Payton or a Buddy Hield goes to set an off-ball screen for Steph, you can easily cut to the basket off that, and defenses will get confused and things to that extent, right? It just Steph's gravity makes things way easier for Draymond. He's obviously getting most of his assists due to off-ball screens, right? And if we just go to like Buddy Hield, right, and click on Buddy Hield real quick, you can see that OKC is first in the NBA at defending off-ball screens, right? And that's basically how Draymond's, like I said, that's how he's getting his assists. We all know that OKC is like a very tough matchup and stuff. They're the best defense in the league. He'll get guarded by Chet. So, and look, he will get some open threes, right? Chet naturally is going to leave him open and help off of him and contest some stuff at the rim. I will say, without Steph, I think he's going to get less open threes, right? Steph just another guy with like massive gravity who you have to, throw bodies at, you have to pay attention to, you have to overhelp on. Without Steph, I think they do help off Draymond less. Like, I don't think that that's like doing him any favors, right? It's not like making life any easier for him. So yeah, he will get a few open threes, right? But I really think that to go over this line, Draymond's going to have like a 3.33 game, a 4-3 game, something like that, because I don't see him getting a lot of assists, and I also don't see him scoring at the rim. Obviously, we can scroll down here and look at OKC. They don't allow anything in the paint, and he's going to get guarded by Chet. Draymond is not going to like. I don't think Draymond's really going to make many 2-pointers over Chet, personally. So, yeah, I think a lot needs to go right for Draymond. Line feels high off rip. Obviously, guys, I talked about the minutes, right? I mean, this 30 minutes is kind of a lot. Draymond doesn't play a ton of minutes, to be honest. It's an 11.5-point spread. OKC is fully healthy minus Hartenstein, who definitely matters, but still OKC is very, very live to blow out any team on any given day. So they also, OKC also is a team that, will frustrate the hell out of you. A Draymond ejection. Can we get that today? Who knows? But anyways, guys, like on a serious note, this line is too high in my opinion, off rip. And OKC is just like the best defense in the league. They don't allow a lot of assists. They don't allow assists to off-ball screens. And Draymond, unless he's hitting threes at will, I just don't see a path for him to go over here outside of that. So I will, live or die by the Draymond 3-ball. I think him hitting 3 threes, 4 threes is probably going to get you like plus 300, plus 800, plus 900. So, yeah, I feel like the odds are in our favor of him not doing that. And I will happily take this under 14.5 points and assists for Draymond Green. All right, guys, that is going to do it. Just a reminder, I will be live at 6 p.m. tonight, breaking down the slate, reacting to some injury news, things to that extent, finding some late ads, all that fun stuff. And as always, guys, make sure to drop a like, sub to the channel on your way out. Make sure to enter in that giveaway. One last thing I do want to say, like I said, I do apologize for the inconsistencies as of recently. Just been a hectic week, man. Like, traveled with my friends, drove from North Carolina to Minnesota because I have a dog and can't exactly get on a flight. So yeah, just a ton of driving. It's been pretty hectic, but videos will be consistent and daily. Same with the streams. So do apologize for that, but looking forward to grinding it out going forward.